Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here with yet again some more StarCraft 2 commentary. Today it will be a series between TSL's HyuN and WhiteRa. Going to be another Protoss vs Zerg. This is actually the third PvZ I've commentated in a row, but you know what? These have been great games by great players, so I'm not adverse to doing that. In the upper right-hand corner here of Shakur's Plateau, we have got our blue Zerg player TSL's HyuN. HyuN recently took first place at the TW Honor Cup number 5, also took first place at the Game Creds Cup number 58. His opponent over here in the lower left-hand position, our red Protoss player, is the one and only WhiteRa, who took second place at the MLG European Invitational 2011, also took fourth place at the ASOS ROG Stars Invite. And actually I didn't give any of the dates for that, so WhiteRa's victories were actually both in November of 2011, and the most recent victories for HyuN that I just mentioned were both actually in May. Yep, May of 2012. Boy. So WhiteRa going for a Forge Fast expand this game. He is also scouting out the lower right-hand spawn location. Goes in just far enough to see if there's creep, and then decides to pull on back. Now again, with this pylon down here, he will be going Forge Fast expand. Back over here for HyuN, nothing yet. We're going to expect pool first, pretty much the standard in PvZ. There it is, spawning pool first. Now from here, he can either go for the extractor to get that metabolic boost, or hold off on that for the chance that he may go for a quick third base if he spots that Forge Fast expand from his opponent, which he of course will, because that is exactly what WhiteRa is doing. WhiteRa continuing to save up his resources, now finally moving down with that probe to place the buildings. It looks like it will be a Forge first for him, then a Nexus after the fact. Probe scout of WhiteRa able to get in the main, spot the fact that there was no extractor. Now he's going to be pulling on down here to the natural expansion and attempting to do a bit of harass and delay HyuN's expansion, and will actually be placing down the pylon as well. Of course, a very popular tactic. Now the question is, does he let it build completely? Does he cancel it off before it finishes? Obviously, if you cancel it off, that means your opponent can drop the hatchery sooner, but if you let it finish, it means you're going to be losing 100 resources. Looks like he's going to take the loss of 100 minerals at some point in a short while once those first 4 Zerglings do pop out. Spawning pool now finished, 6 Zerglings actually coming through. Now HyuN has yet to actually scout out WhiteRa, as you can see, but he'll be spawning that Forge Fast expand in one moment. Nexus now building as well as that first cannon. First 4 lings plus a drone taking out this pylon. Once this is down, we'll be seeing the drone take the expansion, and we'll be seeing another expansion come out soon as well. Again, you can see here still no extractor for HyuN, so there will be a third. Now WhiteRa, assuming that this is going to happen, is actually already in a position to scout that out. Now we're going to see 4 lings go straight for him. The other 2 heading towards the center of the map, grabbing the towers, and then let's see if they just sit there. They probably can, because the Overlord is scouting out the front anyway, so it's not like he needs those lings to scout that. Now WhiteRa is going to be attempting to pull back right now. Now we have got, he's actually going to be checking to see if the third is over here. And then at that moment, the drone pulling past the probe and placing the third expansion right over into this position, the third base rather. So WhiteRa thought he was possibly expanding over here, but again, as we saw, HyuN bypassed the probe and ended up placing the hatchery over in this position. So WhiteRa still doesn't know precisely what's going on. He's got a good idea, but he's not absolutely positive, and that's one thing to certainly keep in mind. This is going to make it so that WhiteRa will have to scout out at some point, and it looks like that point will be now, as he's moving out with his probe, and he's going to head right past a lot of lings. 5 Zerglings sitting right here. Let's see what he can do. Paths right through it using the mineral trick. How did that happen? All you have to do is click on a mineral patch. It will path you through anything with your probe, except for buildings. But any units, it will avoid collision detection and go right through it if you click on a mineral patch. And that's exactly how he did it. Pushes in, scouts the third, and there you go. WhiteRa is all set. I don't know why I was so intense about that. That was the most intense scouting I've ever seen. Alright, HyuN now finally coming out with some extractors. Also continuing to work to drone up so that he can saturate this third as soon as it does finish. WhiteRa also still chilling out with that scouting probe over there. Now we've got 1 Zealot in play, a Stalker coming on through. A very interesting wall position, namely, well, there's no full wall here. There's actually quite a bit of space here for WhiteRa. I'm quite intrigued, actually, to be perfectly honest with you. Now, he's not too concerned about speeding run-bys anytime soon because of the fact that there is a third from HyuN, and that means the metabolic boost has been significantly delayed. So that certainly makes sense to me, why he's not too concerned about speeding run-bys or anything like that, and why he doesn't actually have a full wall off, because it's not necessary. Unless they are actually speedlings trying to stream into your base, you should be all set. WhiteRa coming out with 2 Stargates. So we're going to see some early air dominance here for WhiteRa. It's going to make things a little difficult for these scouting overlords. And we're likely to see Phoenixes out of this. I'm going to assume that's what it will be. Double Void Ray. That would be a lot. That would be a lot to afford, and I'm not quite sure off of just 2 bases that he could actually do that. So I'm expecting to see, at the very least, a mix of Phoenixes, not hefty Void Ray. And Phoenixes are, you know, certainly a very, very viable opening there for WhiteRa. Drone Harass, obviously big. Taking out Queens, also big. And the air dominance, which allows you to take out Overlords, is tremendous. You see all those Overlords actually sitting right there. I want to see, he hasn't scouted anything yet, really. He does not know about these at the moment. We actually have a fleet beacon coming out. Are you kidding me? Is this going to be quick carriers? Is that really what we're seeing from WhiteRa? I think it is. We are going to see carriers here from WhiteRa. You're going to notice he's not producing anything out of these 2 Stargates right now. He is holding on to his resources. That way, once this fleet beacon does finish, we'll be seeing double carriers. This is the most ridiculous thing I have ever seen. Ever? No, not really, but still, it's pretty close. That is absolutely absurd. So we're going to be seeing carriers here from WhiteRa. Now let's take a look at what HyuN has got going on. He does have a Roach Warren in play, coming out with a few Roaches right now. Also researching the Glau Reconstitution and a Macro Hatch being placed over here. Now the problem is, here come those double carriers. And there is not going to be a lot of anti-air at all for HyuN. He really does not have the slightest idea. He has no clue. Now, we've got an Overseer coming on through, and with that, he should be able to get the scouting and respond, hopefully. But I'm really, really concerned because he does not have a Spire coming. He doesn't have a Hydra Den coming either. So dealing with those carriers is going to be a difficult situation. The best thing that he can do, and what we're likely to see, if I had to, you know, put on soothsaying mode right now and go ahead and peer into the future, I would say that HyuN is just going to need a counterattack. I mean, he's going to need to hit WhiteRa, and he's going to need to hit him hard because he has got no response to carriers at all. First 2 carriers just about to finish. We also have 1 in queue on both of these Stargates as well. So HyuN, he knows what's up right now, and he knows I got to do something. Now, he will be coming out with a Spire. With that Spire, he'll be coming out with Corruptors. Corruptors will be the best response to these carriers. Mutalisks, not so much, unless he can get a huge, huge number, but still, Corruptors are going to be pretty good. Now, there's first 2 carriers making their way across the map, and here comes the planned counterattack. Now, I'm a bit surprised right now that we don't have sentries here. I am a little bit surprised right now that we don't have sentries, because that would be absolutely ideal here for WhiteRa. Now, WhiteRa significantly delayed that Cybernex Core Warp Gate tech, and now he's getting hit hard by HyuN, and this is what I expected. You have to expect that counterattack, especially given the fact that HyuN had nothing to deal with those carriers. Now we got Roaches just going crazy here. And I don't know what he's going to do. He's got another set of carriers that will help deal with that, but is he going to lose his base before that even happens? These 2 carriers now pushing towards the 3rd. We've got a few few Spore Crawlers plus all of those Queens. I'm going to start target firing down these carriers. This carrier actually taking a lot of damage right now. Oh my gosh. That carrier taking significant damage from all those Queens. Roaches over here. We got a couple Spielings systematically taking them out. We do have a Void Ray in play, actually. There was a Void Ray follow-up besides any additional carriers. This carrier pretty low. This is not going well for WhiteRa. WhiteRa just calls the GG. And you know what? Again, that's pretty much what I expected. As soon as HyuN scouted out the fact that there was going to be carriers in play, he just said, you know what? I can't really deal with this. Sure, he was okay over here with Queens, but his best bet was to counterattack, because if he waited any longer, if he waited till more carriers came out, or Void Rays even, then it would have been a much worse situation. So hitting at that exact time was absolutely what HyuN needed to do. WhiteRa opens up this game with some double carrier play. Unfortunately for him, though, HyuN was able to scout it out and push out with the very effective counterattack of Mass Roaches, which is something that WhiteRa cannot defend against. He did not have any sentries in play to stop this from moving into his expansion. Maybe had he had that, would have been a little better off. It's tough to tell, but either way, WhiteRa ends up losing the game. Thank you guys so much for watching. This was game number 1. We'll be moving on to game 2 in just a moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe, and don't forget to keep watching, keep owning.